Thank you so much for joining me on the way forward. I'm Eddie Francis. I am pleased to be joined by Danielle Miller. She is the host of Good News. And Danielle, it's good to see you again. How are you?
I am doing great, Eddie. It's a pleasure seeing you again, and thank you so much for having me on your show. I am excited to talk to you today.
Yeah, so I say see Danielle again because we have the pleasure of being team members once upon a time at Dillard University. She is a proud alumna of Dillard. And Danielle was somebody who I discovered her. I discovered her talent, saw what she was doing, and I reached out. And you thought I was nuts, didn't you? When I reached out to you on LinkedIn about working at Dillard, didn't you? You thought something was wrong with me, didn't you?
I was like, "What?" Like, you know what I'm saying? You guys want me back in the office? But
So wait. Did you think it was stranger danger? What was going on?
no, I was just like, I couldn't believe it because I interned in the marketing and communications office, as a student at Dillard. So when you rushed out, I was like, is he for real? Like, once I, started talking to you, I was like, oh my God, I'm excited for this opportunity.
So Danielle, you right now are doing something that is really cool. You host Good News on social media. You take a look at what's happening around New Orleans. And I really wanted to get an idea of the good work that local influencers are doing on their platforms. So, first of all, talk about Good News. Why did you start it?
Oh wow. Well, Good News is my baby. I started Good News because I've always had a knack for storytelling. And I knew I wanted to be a reporter. And when I, saw what the news stations were doing, I realized that they were covering the hard news and we really didn't see our entrepreneurs and our daily people in our community. We didn't hear their stories. So I had bought a camera, made an investment in myself. I purchased a camera, a microphone, a computer, and I say, you know what? I'm going to go out and I'm going to find these stories myself. So I had a lot of entrepreneurs around me, people who were artists, like business owners, and I started going to interview them and doing news stories with them. So I was really interested in the people and their narrative. And I
Hmm.
always wanted to know, like, your why, like what made you want to do this? And when you went through this, how did you get from point A to point B? So my main goal with Good News is to amplify the positive stories of people in our community and just give them a platform to share their stories that we otherwise wouldn't see on, a local news platform.
When we worked together at Dillard, I remember bringing it up to you, and I remember saying, "That's really cool. I'm glad you're doing that kind of stuff."
Mhm.
So let's take a step back really quickly and find out more about you. Um, Talk about where you grew up, where you went to school, all that good stuff.
Yeah, so I'm a proud New Orleans native. I grew up in New Orleans East. I went to elementary school at the time. It was called Bishop McManus Academy. It
Oh
was
yeah.
a little private school tucked away in the East. For high school, I went to the illustrious McDonough 35, where I was Miss McDonough 35, and I hold that title with honor.
Oh, cool. I didn't realize you were Miss McDonald 35.
Yes, and on the cheerleading team, like I did so many things at McDonald 35. So like I really, they have a special place in my heart because I feel like that is where I was being shaped and molded into the woman that I am today.
Yeah.
Even though I didn't know it, but I always was ambitious, always wanted to be a part of everything. But at McDonald 35, there was a lot of teachers who were really pouring into the students. And I feel like that made a world of difference in my life. So, once we are away from our parents, we had, another hub for people to like help us and guide us along the way. So I'm really grateful for everybody at McDonald 35, really. And
Yeah.
then for undergraduate, of course, like you mentioned, I went to Dillard University, studied mass communications, and it's been up from there. I've been on the go since then.
So when you think about the way that you wanted to get started with Good News, um, you said that a lot of it is wanting to tell people's stories.
Mhm.
What inspires you about telling those stories?
You know, somebody told me on a podcast once. and this really helped me connect with it. She said, sometimes your story is not always for you, it is
Mm.
to help somebody else. And that is what really drives me to find out the why and the who behind these stories, because I really want to encourage another person, whether they're the same age or whether it's a younger person, to say, hey, look, this is what they went through, this is how they overcame it, and look how their life is excelling now. So that's really the main goal behind it for me. Just even with celebrities, we're always like, we see them and we see them in all their glory, but we always probably wonder like, I wonder like what was their life like growing up, or what
Hmm.
obstacles did they have to encounter. But we always can't have those sit down conversations with celebrities, so it's like I can see the greatness in the making. So
Hmm.
if I encounter an entrepreneur or business owner or somebody doing great things in New Orleans, I'm like, I know that you're going somewhere, and there's some young person or even somebody that's your same age that want to go down that same path, but maybe they feel like, oh, I have this going on, I have that going on, I can't do it. But I love to like pull out those testimonies of, this is how I did it, this is why I did it, and this is how my life is excelling right now. So that's really what drives me about the people behind the activity or the story. So, and I really hope that it inspires people to take the next step. Like, just because you're going through something in your life, that doesn't mean you have to stay there. Is always somebody nearby that can encourage you, that can give you some advice to get to the next step. Because I believe that we were all put on this earth to, accomplish something, and we all have our different gifts and talents, and we just have to go through the process to get, to where God wants us to be in life, really.
I have my own thoughts about this, but I'm curious about your thoughts. Do you feel that the inspiration that you're providing on your platform is something that is needed in Black New Orleans?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I agree.
Absolutely. Because as I mentioned, and let me not say like, I don't want it to come off like with our local news outlets or even national news outlets are just so negative, right? Because I work with these people sometimes on a daily basis,
Hmm.
do the work I do with PR, and I'm grateful for what they do, because we have to stay informed as a community. But it's not every day that we know about the guy up the street that has a multi-million-dollar company and this is how he did it. Sometimes those stories are not salacious enough, or it isn't considered breaking news. So I think it's very important for people to know that there is positive things going around you, on around you. People are being successful around you, and you can do it too. Like, it's not out of reach. That's what I want
Hmm.
people to know, and I think that that's what we should always be aiming to communicate in our community, that hey, we're doing good things and everybody should know about it. And I think it's a ripple effect. So if I know that Eddie can do it, he might give me some advice. I'm like, okay, well, I can do it. And then somebody behind me come up and like, I feel like it's a revolving door and we just all elevating.
Yeah. I'm going to be blunt. The reason I asked you that question is even some of our local celebrities
Hmm.
express at some point that I'm trying to do this thing. All I'm trying to do is make it, and y'all will find a way to try to drag me down. And I'm out here trying to make the city look good. I'm trying to make you look good, but you still want to tell me I think I'm too good and all. I've heard some local celebrities, people who are doing major work, okay, express that kind of frustration. And we hear this also from local, especially local Black celebrities. We hear this from them where they say, I want to be in my city. I want to live in my city, but I can't live in my city because everybody's just on some BS, and they have a really, really hard time with that. And I myself, listen, I'm a small fry in a radio business. Okay. I am not that dude. But even in my case, there have been times when it's gotten back to me, just some real crazy rumor
Yeah.
has gotten back to me, and I'm going, what? I didn't know I was doing all this stuff. you know, and it's people being messy. So I think that makes it hard for people to appreciate things like good news. I think it makes it very hard for them to appreciate that.
Yeah, and I agree, Eddie. Like, I think that New Orleans has some of the people in New Orleans have like a crabs in the barrel mentality.
That's what we say all the time. Yeah.
Saying, and also I think that New Orleans has a very like clout chasing culture. So sometimes, like, if you're popping or mainstream, they wasn't thinking about you before or like encouraging you or supporting your work, but let you hit a certain amount of followers or this person share you on their platform. Now everybody wanna visit your place or shop with you and all that. But weren't you just the one who was like, oh, I remember her from so and so, she's not all this, she's not all that. Like,
Yeah.
like we
She ain't nobody. She just went to 3-5. She ain't nobody.
fan. I used to see her in houses, like, but no, so, and I get it. Like, some people probably like, I put in my work, I pay my dues. New
Yeah.
Orleans is just not giving what I need, and they move away, and then they, start their life elsewhere. But what my hope is really, Eddie, and I know this is probably like fairy tale, but it's like I really want our people to see that if we all put our heads together and we strive for greatness, New Orleans can be like that place where people say, "Oh, I want to go to New Orleans to work and live and get a job." Instead of
Mm-hmm.
like taking all of our talents and we go away and make a better life, And it's not just the people, it's the resources, it's the opportunity, it's everything. Like collectively, I feel like there needs to be transformation in New Orleans to make people want to stay.
Yeah, you're listening to The Way Forward. I'm Eddie Francis, and we're speaking to Danielle Miller. And Danielle is the host of Good News. And I am gathering some of the local influencers, and I want to find out what it is with these influencers that gives them the energy to do what they do. But then also, why is it they feel strongly about playing a part in pushing the city forward? And for your part, you just mentioned that it may be fairy tale or something like that, but isn't it important for us? And social media is the perfect place for this.
Mhm.
Isn't it important for us though to establish that mentality of dreaming of what could be better and how we can make it better? Don't I think that's important. What do you think?
Absolutely. Like, I'm a huge fan in romanticizing your life and romanticizing everything around you. And I recently had the opportunity to travel. And I'm like, we're in front of the boardwalk taking pictures and we're trying all these different restaurants. And when I came back to New Orleans, I had to go on the Riverwalk for an event. And I'm just like looking at the boats passing. I'm looking at all this and I'm like, wow, I think that we miss the beauty of
Mm-hmm.
because we live in it. But I'm like, the same way you was out there on somebody else's boardwalk and river taking pictures, like it's the same thing to them. So we have so much beauty in New Orleans. Like, New Orleans is a big port of trading and all this type of stuff. So, once you really start thinking about where you're living, where you come from, it really starts to make you see like, wow, we really have some beautiful things and some things to be proud of in New Orleans. And the culture, the food, and I get it. I know people like are over the word, like the buzzword culture, but it really is something about New Orleans that you don't get anywhere else. Like the
Mm-hmm.
signs, the music, just the way people are, hey baby, how you doing?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Other places you walk up the street, they don't even want to make eye contact with you. So it's just like, you know what I'm saying? Like we really have something to really be proud of in the city of New Orleans. And I may be crazy, but I know I'm going to get every ounce of everything that I can get out of New Orleans before, I have to move on. If I ever moved on, I know we just talked about this before we started the interview, but New Orleans will always have a special place in my heart. Like this is where I grew up, and I know people have like negative experiences in New Orleans, but thankfully, like for the most part, with the people and the schools that I've went to and the jobs that I've worked, the people have been amazing, and I love that they pour into you because they want to see you succeed. You get what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I'm really excited about. And I want everybody to see that and like stop talking so negatively about the city that you live in and do something about it. You know what I'm saying? Make it what
Yeah.
you want it to be.
Yeah, listen, I can tell you from experience, no other place in this country has the culture that we have. I mean, New York has a great culture,
Hmm.
but New Yorkers come to New Orleans and say, man, this place is different. Like,
Yes.
you guys are different. I lived in Dallas, mad respect for Dallas. You go to Dallas, you can smell money in Dallas. You
Mm,
can smell money. Okay. But Dallas doesn't have the kind of culture that we have. And I'm always thinking, can we take Dallas's money and put it in New Orleans with our culture and just we can blow up the South? Like is I heard not too long ago, I was watching a video that John Hope Bryant did.
mm-hmm,
And one of the things he said was when you take a look at the way diversity has positively impacted cities, he said in the South, Atlanta is your example. Atlanta's economy, the economy of Atlanta pretty much drives the entire South almost.
mm-hmm.
And I thought to myself, I love that for Atlanta, but that's a shame because I think New Orleans should be that city. Like I
Yes.
really, really think we do. Our deep love of culture, our deep respect for the human experience, our love for the human experience. Um, and then on top of all that, we're just a fun city and
Yes.
we're fun people, you know.
Absolutely. And that's what people love about us. And even like I feel like, some people probably don't like it, but I don't know if you heard, but Drake recently released like 3 albums, right?
Yeah.
And I know a couple years ago Drake had a few New Orleans artists on his album, but this year the artist Hot Sizzle was featured on Drake's album. So people who are mainstream national artists, they see the value and love the sound and the flavor of New Orleans and say, you know what? I want to incorporate this into my music, and it makes their stuff sound better. So if we can really just see the value that we have on ourselves, I think that things will be a whole lot different.
Talk about a story that you've done on Good News that sticks out to you for all the right reasons.
Mm, a story that I done on Good News. Oh my God. So it was a podcast interview, right? And I interviewed my pastor, Pastor Antoine Berrier.
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah.
was very honored to do that interview because number one, I had never seen him on any other influencers platform or, somebody my age where we can sit down and actually talk about, things that a lot of people have questions about, but they probably don't even just know how to even ask the question or who to ask the question to. So I was honored to have him on because just to hear him break things down in layman's terms, like that really was helpful to me, and then he also spoke some encouraging words over my life to like
Mm.
continue to do what you're doing. And that was confirmation for me because like he's like, people need this. People need to, like I told you earlier, hear the testimonies about who's done what before them and motivate people to keep going because I don't know about you, but it's like always something negative. When I'm scrolling
Yeah.
on my timeline, it's like, why am I seeing fighting and this and that and that and that? It's like, come on, y'all. Like, we have something else to talk about. But I think that people, they might start feeling different if they start seeing more positive things and hearing people talk about different stuff other than just the doom and gloom all the time.
Yeah.
So that was a story that stuck out to me the most. Because everybody else that followed, like, we're always talking about, their journey and entrepreneurship, and I love that. But I felt like he gave me like that spiritual upliftment that not only that I needed, but I felt like my audience can benefit from because I feel like that's the foundation of where we operate from. So if we are connected to a source and we're anchored in something, that's definitely going to change how we move and, even our perspective on things.
Mm.
Mhm.
Yeah, I love Pastor Barry. And you actually just made me think about one of the most underrated features of New Orleans is that we actually have a really good faith-based community.
Oh,
We have
absolutely.
a great faith-based community. I mean, whether you're talking about the Catholic Church, the work that Father Johnny Gibson is doing over at St. Peter Claver, Pastor Barrier, and all of these other great pastors that we have in different walks of faith, and then outside of the Christian faith, we have great Jewish leaders, we have great Muslim leaders, Brother Willie Muhammad. I mean, we have all of these great people in the faith community in New Orleans, and I don't think they get nearly enough credit
No.
for the great work that they're doing in their particular in their specific churches, temples, mosques, I don't think they get enough credit for what they're doing.
And not to like boost up my church because I do attend Household of Faith, but like just this morning, I don't know if it's every week or a few times a month, they host grocery outreach.
Yep.
And
Mm-hmm.
they do like these mega giveaways, and it's like they try their best to like step into the community and
Yeah.
give them what they need. Like they host this thing called the Labor of Love every year, and it's like
Mm-hmm.
a massive baby shower for pregnant women, and they go get massages, and they get literally like strollers, diapers, anything that you want. So a lot of people probably don't know that these churches are really like pouring into our community. They're taking time with our students and going into the schools and all that, and that's what we really need.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So I wanted to find out from you a couple of things to close it out. Number one, um, what do you want people to feel when they are looking at the content that you're producing for Good News? But then also, I want to get back to the dream thing.
Mhm.
Danielle, what is your big dream as a content creator, as an influencer in New Orleans? What is your big dream for your city to watch it move forward?
Oh my God. Okay, so I'm going to start with your first question. So, when people see the content from Good News, I want people to walk away feeling inspired. I want them to walk away feeling informed, entertained, and uplifted. That is the main thing. So whether it's a informative podcast that you're watching with the pastor or with the business owner, I want you to walk away with tidbits like, okay, now I know what to do next in my journey. Or if it's just me covering a community event, I want you to feel like, oh, that was so cool. I want to go to the next one. So those are the things that I want people to walk away from, and some, like a little bug gets inside them and say, you know what? I'm about to take action. I'm either going to the
Yeah.
event, I'm about to get my business started. I'm going to do something after watching this podcast. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I want people to take away. But my big dream for New Orleans is that I see New Orleans as, like you said, you could smell the money in Dallas. New Orleans needs to be a place where it's like I can smell the money. Like everybody is living well. I don't want to see no potholes in the street. I don't want to have to keep taking my doggone car to get service because I didn't hit a pothole and like didn't even see it when I was coming. I want there to be good jobs for all of the people that's aiming to do something. I want there to be like more economic development so that people can grow and thrive, because the people is what makes New Orleans. It's not the buildings, it's not the festival, it's the people that are in the city. So everybody should be able to live well. And when I say well, not just like, oh, I have money to eat and go here and go there, but like I have a good life. I'm wealthy. I see that for our city. I want people to know that you don't have to fight against your brother and sister. Like we're all one. We are all connected. We're all the community. So the work that I'm doing, I hope and pray that, it just permeates the streets and the airwaves or whatever I'm doing in media to just, inspire people to say, you know what? I can do better than this. And if I'm already doing better, I can help somebody that is behind me to pull them up to say, hey, here's how we do it. And also our leadership, I want our leadership to know that, hey, you have people that really want to stay in New Orleans, but give us something to stay here for. Give us something to grow from. Like, we want to make money just like everybody else in this country is making money. We want to grow our careers just like, I don't want to have to go to Phoenix or, like you said, Dallas just to say I'm thriving.
Yeah.
I believe that we will get back on track. We just have to stay focused and we all have to work together. So our leaders, our community members, and I think we'll be good. I hope I be here to see it, but if it's not in my time, but my children and my children's children, I want them to be like, oh yeah, my mom was from New Orleans, so this is why I love going back. Or if they're not already living here in New Orleans.
All right. Danielle Miller. She's the host of Good News. Danielle, it is so good to talk to you again and good to see you again.
Good to see you too, Eddie. And thank you so much. It is an honor to be on the podcast sharing information about Good News. This is big for us, like, you know what I'm saying? Because we really want people to catch on and just know that it's no fluff, but we are really doing stuff to make an impact in our community.